Greetings, it's Iain from RTO here. Welcome to another Saturday show, video, whatever you would like to call it, which always means Richard's with me. So, good morning, Richard.
Good morning, Ian, and how are you on this nice, fine, sunny, but slightly chilly, but still nice day?
It's not as chilly here. It's quite mild. And even if Rocky goes out with the stride in the morning, it's not, the weather's okay because he doesn't mind going out when it's quite warm. Yeah, it's quite a nice day here today. I've even got the windows open in the lounge. That's how nice it
Oh,
is.
there you go. There you go.
Anyway, today we did something not so long ago of our favourite cover songs by bands. So we've turned the tables today for songs that by our bands we like, and we go, why did they do that? Yeah. Move on. So it's bad covers today. I've
Yeah.
got 6 bubbling unders as well because I've got the host of them.
I've only got the three, and the reason why is because I did have a list of six or seven, and I played them all again, and I finally decided to actually like some of them. So I've only got the three.
So usual format. Richard goes first, I go second.
Okay, well, my number 10 is from Tanita Tikaram, who happens to be my favorite female singer of all time. And in 1997 or 8, she covered ABBA's The Day Before You Came on her Cappuccino Songs album. Now, credit to her, she didn't do a direct cover. She actually slowed it down and she made it more jazzy in sound, and it doesn't quite work. And I just think it's a bit of a dirge. So, as I say, good on her for doing a different arrangement, because that's the way I usually like covers to be, is a slightly different arrangement. But this one is nowhere near as good as the ABBA original, and it's not even as good as Blancmange's version in 1984, which was a hit for them. Actually, the Blancmange's version was the bigger hit of between it and ABBA. So my number 10, Tanita Tikaram, The Day Before You Came.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard that, so but I will hear it later. Okay, my number 10. Now, as you know, quite a bit of a big country fan. And in 2001, they decided to do a covers album, which has always been for me. None of them, they do really good versions. They do a great version of Don't Fear the Reaper. But do I want them to do Paranoid by Black Sabbath? No, I don't. It's Stuart, great singer, but he just hasn't got the same thing. The guitars need to be a bit more gritty. The drumming from Mark Sexsky is pretty good, but the rest of it just flops like a bit of limp lettuce.
I must play that because I didn't realize that they did a covers album. I know they covered Roxy Music's Prairie Rose, which I never really liked. Again, it was in my bubbling unders, but I played it this morning. I thought this is actually quite good. So I must give Paranoid a spin.
Yeah,
As they
you'll be shocked.
say.
It's not as good
Good.
as. It's not a bad effort, but it's just not the sort
No.
of song they should do.
Well, my number 9 is from Blondie, and they did a live version of Get It On by T Rex, and it is absolutely woeful. Now, I'm not too sure where it originally came from. I think it may have been as a bonus track on one of their 12-inch singles from around the 78 mark, because it got on as a bonus track on the CD of Parallel Lines. And it's shockingly bad. Now, the thing about Get It On is even the T Rex's live versions, I think, are really bad as well because of the way the chorus goes. The chorus should actually just be backing vocals with the lead singer singing quite deep rather than singing high. And Blondie, it just doesn't work, and it just sounds bad. It's crap basically. So Get It On by Blondie is my number 9. Awful version.
Yeah, I've been listening to some Blondie, and I was listening to albums that Lee hasn't got. Like I thought I was listening to Pollinator, and I thought
Hmm.
Parallel Extended. How can they? And then I did. Oh, and I went, yeah, not a
That's
good
perfect.
choice. Not a good choice. Okay, my number 9. I love the original. The Supremes, Keep Me Hanging On. A classic, yeah.
Hmm.
It's about 3.5 minutes long. Vanilla Fudge slowed it down to make it last 6 minutes. Get on with it. Oh, they released it as a single, got to number 6 in the US and number 18 back in 1967 over here. Why? Why do you need to slow down a classic to make it this dirge? You want to get behind it and wind it up. It's like a clockwork, the old clockwork train sets we used to have. You want to wind it up and let it. Oh, yeah, why don't? Oh, no, stop it.
Maybe it was right for the time. Maybe it was a little 68. Suppose that's
67.
around. But maybe it's a little. They're thinking they're being a little psychedelic or whatever. But
Yeah, but
no, I haven't heard it. But I'm sure it's rubbish. Well, my number 8, and I don't dislike this. I just think it's a really boring version, and it's by the Proclaimers, and I love the Proclaimers. But they do a version of Reckless Eric's Whole Wide World, and they don't add anything to it, and it's just they almost phoned it in, if you see what I mean. I just thought it was so basic, and I love the song, I really do, and Reckless Eric's is great. But the Proclaimers, there's no expression in it. I just don't think it's any good. And it got on their 2007 album, is it Life with You or Without You or whatever it is? But it's just boring. I don't completely dislike it. It's just boring.
I've always thought that was a bit of a. Oh, we've got a few minutes to do. Oh, let's do this.
Lack of material.
That old chess. Yeah, I've heard
Mhm.
it. It's not very good. I totally
And
agree with you.
it was actually a single as well, which is ridiculous because there are far better tracks in that album.
Yes, there are. Okay, my number 8. Now it's my favourite Bee Gees song. It's "Staying Alive." It's a great disco song. It's a great version. But in 2005, Ozzy Osbourne released a box set called "The Prince of Darkness,"
Mhm.
and yes, he covers "Staying Alive."
Oh, good Lord.
It is, oh good lord! It's get all on, instead of saying the crazy train, he says get on the disco train.
Uh,
He made some howlers. I mean, he did a bad version of "All My Life," and Ozzy Osbourne must be the only person that actually ruined one of his own songs. Changes when he did it with Kelly.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, no, you don't. I mean, you're going to hear it obviously because I'm going to put it in the list today, but we don't want Ozzy doing disco.
I can't see it. I just can't. The two of them just don't gel to me.
Oh,
Staying alive.
it's dire. It's for the dung heap, that one, I'm afraid.
Well, my number 7, and it's a John Lennon cover. Well, John Lennon's doing the cover, and it's from his rock and roll album. And he does a version of "Do You Want to Dance," and it's shockingly bad, and it's slowed down as well, and it's got a bit of a reggae feel. It's badly produced. It just sounds horrible, and it's not a very good album. A lot of the other cover versions are rubbish as well, but this is the one that stands out, and I just it's terrible. "Do You Want to Dance" has been covered by so many people, and brilliantly done. Like Cliff Richard did it, and it's not a bad version. The Ramones did it brilliant. The Beach Boys did it brilliant. Even T Rex did it, and it wasn't too bad. But John Lennon's, sorry, no, rubbish. And that's my number 7.
Rubbish album would probably that is got to be the worst track on it without a
Right.
doubt.
There's a couple of good covers on, like "Stand by Me" and "Peggy Sue," but no. Do You Want Dances is poor.
Oh yeah, I don't like that version of it. It's pretty nah. Okay, my number 7 is a little track first done by Lonnie Donegan, The Battle of
Hmm.
New Orleans. Absolutely classic skiffle song. Again, in 2021, Deep Purple decided to bring out an album, and it's an apt title, Turning to Crime.
Hmm.
It's a shocking album all round, but their version of Battle of New Orleans has become this sort of hillbilly country song.
Hmm.
It's crap.
I know Lauren Donegan's version, and I do like that song, but never heard Deep Purple's.
No one wants to hear Deep Purple doing Lonnie Donegan, but you will be forced to today. It's a bad album. I had it on CD, and it's that bad. I have now got rid of it.
Well,
And for me
again,
to get rid of a Deep Purple album is saying something. I guess
you know,
it's probably the worst cover album I ever bought. There's nothing on there that really does it for me.
well, my number 6, I said John Lennon. I'm going to say another Beatle now, and it's George Harrison. And in 1974, he did a cover version of Bye Bye Love, the Everly Brothers song, and it was on his Dark Horse album. And he changed the lyrics a bit because this was around the time that Eric Clapton was away with his wife. And there's a bit of a sneer there, but he rearranges the song completely. You know, at the start of it, it sounds okay. The acoustic start, it sounds actually quite good, but then it turns into one of the most boring George Harrison type songs and is so unmelodic. It's just dreadful. And George's voice is terrible on it as well because at that time he had laryngitis. But Bye Bye Love, shocking version of a great song by the Everly Brothers and obviously Simon Garfunkel as well. And the Proclaimers did a good version too. So that's my number 6, George Harrison, Bye Bye Love.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. These are just absolutely. You sit there sometimes when why? Why did you bother?
Yeah.
Because
I
it's not
think
very good.
I honestly think he did it because him and your woman, what you call her, the good looking blade, um, went off Eric Clapton. Oh, what's her name?
Patty
Patty Boyd.
something.
Patty
Patty
Boyd.
Boyd, that's it.
I think it's because they were breaking up and the words actually worked for that. And he arranged it a little bit, saying old clappers is in there, meaning Eric Clapton. So hope her and old clappers are doing well, blah blah blah. But I think that's the reason why he did it. But it's not a good version at all.
Yeah, nothing like airing your dirty laundry in public, is there?
I know exactly. I would have kept that one to myself.
I would have done. Anyway, my number 6. Loads of people have covered this. It's an old classic from Chuck Berry, Johnny Be Good. But do you want to
Mhm.
hear it heavy metalized with Rob Halford singing it? No.
Mhm.
It didn't need heavy metal in. It didn't. It's on a very bad album called Ram It Down. They released it as a single because it was used in a film. And that came out in 1988. Got to number 64 here in the UK. But the Americans liked it because it got into the top 50.
All right.
But I don't like it. It's a bad song of a very poor Judas Priest album.
Yeah. It's a song I've never really. I'm not a big Chuck Berry fan, because I do have a Chuck Berry album, but I would never play it. I always think all the songs sound exactly the same. All the same start, but I don't know. A heavy metal version might be interesting. It might actually, for example, Roll Over Beethoven, I think it's a fantastic song by ELO, but the original, and even the Beatles is dreadful as well.
Yeah.
But not a huge Chuck Berry fan. Well, my number 5 is by Simon Garfunkel, and they covered Bob Dylan's "The Times They Are a Changin" on their debut album, Wednesday Morning, 3 a.m. And it's so lightweight. It's such a powerful song, but they turn it into a really sort of folky, lightweight type sing along song, and they just completely destroy it. Now, I love Simon Garfunkel, but I can't bear them playing The Times They Are Changing. In fact, there's a lot of versions of that I do not like. I don't like. I think Peter Paul and Mary did it as well. I know they did Blowing in the Wind, but I think it's that sort of type that arrangement they did for it, and it's a brilliant song, but that version stinks, and so that's my number five.
Yeah, you can imagine when you hear that, you imagine seeing someone with a corduroy jacket on and a tank top and bell bottom and hair that's been cut round a bowl singing it. It's that sort of
I know it's
version.
shocking.
It's shocking. It is very shocking. Okay, my number five is a great song by Elvis Presley, as we know, and I think it was 2005. The great Michael Schenker and MSG decided to put out a covers album with some really good covers, but the version of Almost Shook Up is too heavy. It's got Jolene Turner singing on it, and it's just a mess. Why would you want to make a great song like that? I've got a nice shuffle into a heavy rock metal, screeching guitar licks that don't belong on the track. No, I love Michael Schenker, but Michael, I hate that.
There you go. Great song though, All Shook Up.
Yeah,
Absolutely
mullered.
brilliant track.
Absolutely mullered.
Paul McCartney had to go with that as well. He didn't do a bad job of it, so it never got on my list. Well, my number four is I don't actually know exactly when this was recorded. I think it must have been recorded by 1975 or 1976, but it didn't come out until 1983, and it's Mark Bolan. I came out as Mark Bolan as well from his Dance in the Midnight album, and it's his version of Stand By Me. Now, I do like the Benny King version, but I do prefer the John Lennon version. But the hit Bolan's version is just so saccharine, sweet, and wimpy that I just don't like it at all. It must have been recorded around the time I would have thought of the Zip Gun sessions or the Futuristic Dragon sessions. But with this album, extra strings and so forth were added because demos were taken, and then other uh, musicians came in to add instruments because obviously Bolan had died 6 years previous. And it opens up side two of the album, and it's just poor. It really is. The album itself's not bad, but Stand By Me, very bad version. So that's my number four.
Yeah, that album always. It's one of them albums. Someone trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I bought it at the time and I liked it and I was glad to have it because we'd never heard these songs before.
But
But
that is a shot. That is not. That's a terrible version.
a lot of the purists wanted the album to be raw without the extra added strings and added instrumentation there and then. But no, I was happy enough with it. But the song Stand By Me, no good.
Okay, my number four is actually a Bond theme, and it was
Right.
done brilliantly by Paul McCartney and Wings.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, Live and Let Die. I love that. It's my favourite Bond soundtrack song. But Guns N' Roses ruined it. And what makes it bad is the guitar solo. It is so off key. It sounds awful. And he did well. Got to number 5 in the charts here. That load of rubbish. Because it's Guns N' Roses, we had to. Oh, no. When I first heard it, I thought, and I remember saying to a Guns N' Roses fan, I thought Slash was a decent guitarist. And if he can't even play that properly, there's no hope for him.
I know, I never liked that version. I don't like Guns N' Roses full stop. A couple of songs I can tolerate, but that's it.
Yeah, I've got a greatest hits album. That's all I need.
That's the grey one.
Yeah.
As well.
Except
well,
that track, of course.
Well, my number three is by the Smiths, and they did a cover of a Cilla Black song uh, that she recorded called "Work is a Four-Letter Word," and it was released as the B-side of "Girlfriend in a Coma." And Johnny Marr hated the fact that the Smiths were covering Cilla Black songs, but Morrissey loved it, and it's just awful. It really is, and that I think it was that song was really the reason why the Smiths actually split up, because Morrissey had enough of all these wanting to cover 60s songs. But I say it was only a B side, but it's crap. It really is. And so it's my number three.
I've never heard that, but
No.
this again, it's the Cilla Black, the Smiths.
Yeah. Okay, well, Sandy Shaw and the Smiths worked well, but Cilla Black didn't quite have the same sort of, I don't know. Well, there are a lot of Cilla Black fans. I just remember my father saying, "I can't stand that woman's voice," whenever she sings. And it sort of put me off her as well.
Yeah, I'm going to look forward to hearing that one.
Yeah.
Okay, my number three is a song by ABBA, and "Lay All Your Love on Me." The German thrash
Oh.
band Halloween
So,
did a thing called Heavy Metal Jukebox, and they did some great ones. They do a great version of Deep Purple's Rap Blue, but the version of "Lay All Your Love on Me" is sacrilege. Rule number one: never cover an ABBA song unless you think. I mean, Marillion did it at one of their weekends. They did "Money, Money, Money," which is absolutely diabolical. But this is even worse, and that's why I chose it.
mm-hmm.
It's awful.
A thrash version of "Lay All Your Love on Me." I don't think I would even want to hear that. Because I thought you were going to say Erasure, who had a huge hit with it. But
Yeah.
no, thank God. There you go. Okay, my number two is actually from David Bowie. And he did a version of, are you ready for this? Zig Zig Sputnik's Love Missile F-111. And it was a B-side of one of his singles. And to be honest with you, he does a decent enough version of it, but I just don't like it. I just think it's crap. And there's no reason whatsoever to do that. He did it in 2003 around the reality sessions, and to me, it's just absolutely pointless. And funny enough, the original single was actually only a DVD audio, so you couldn't even play it on a CD player. But certain reissues of the album since that actually have it as a bonus track to reality. So Love Missile F-111 by Bowie, the Zig Zig Sputnik track is my number two.
Yeah, I never realised he'd done it, but when I did my album ranking, I was listening to the album. I what's this? And then, oh no, what are you doing this for? But yeah, it's not very good, is it?
That's not.
Okay, my number two is a song originally made famous by the Crystals. "Then She Kissed Me." Beach Boys have had a go at it. Did not a bad version of it, but Kiss had a go at it in
Right.
1977, and it is awful. They released it as a single. The Americans didn't like it because it didn't chart, but it got to number 73 here. But it's dire. You'll never hear anything so bad in your life.
Was that from the Dynasty album, whichever?
I can't. That period, yeah, it's.
I know that they did a cover of the Rolling Stones' 2000 Man, which I'd never heard before. And then James Griffiths sent me a link to it. And I really enjoyed their version of it. I thought it was really glammed up. But Then She Kissed Me. I don't know about that. I know Gary Glitter did it as well. By the way, he had a hit with it.
Yeah, but no, you.
Right, my number one, and this is a song that's so badly done that it's actually quite good. And it's Bob Dylan covering The Boxer, the Simon Garfunkel song. And it's on his self portrait album. And if you haven't heard it, play it and you'll laugh your socks off. I don't know if he's doing it as a skit or not. It sounds as if it's a bit of a skit, but it is terrible. But as I say, it goes beyond terrible to actually being quite enjoyable. And but it has to get my number one as a shocking bad cover version. So I've actually got a really bad Dylan version by Simon Garfunkel on here, and now a really bad uh, The Boxer, the Simon Garfunkel song by Bob Dylan. So they've cancelled each other out.
That's one of my favourite songs by Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh well, they absolutely. You talk about Mullering. Oh my god! But you'll laugh. It's that bad. You'll laugh.
Yeah, it's just like with some of these films. It's so bad, I love it.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is
yeah,
shocking.
I can imagine so. Okay, my number one is actually a Christmas song,
Hmm.
and probably one of the best Christmas songs ever in my books. Done by the Pogues and Kirsty MacColl, of course.
Hmm.
Fairy Tale of New York. And in 2020, John Bon Jovi released a version of it. John Bon Jovi's voice is now shot to hell.
Yeah.
It's flat. He changes the words to the Wokery version.
Oh God! Right. Okay.
And he tries to, it's like he does an Irish accent that's on the same level as Dick Van Dyke doing a Cockney accent. And it has gone down when I did some research on it as probably the worst Christmas song ever.
Yes,
It is awful, awful. I remember when it came out. Oh, it's lovely to see John doing this, and I put in the comments on Facebook. I told them to go and clean their ears because if you
mm,
think that's good, your earrings as bad as his singing. Oh, did I get some hate?
stick. And,
But it is.
uh,
It's absolutely diabolical. Oh, it's not on my Christmas list anyway.
right. Well, I'll tell you, I might actually wait till Christmas to listen to it. It's that bad. Well, I have got three bubbly gumblers, and one of them, I might get a bit of stick for this, but that's just a personal choice. The first one is the Birds again doing a Bob Dylan song, but they do "Lay Lady Lay," and they put a gospel choir on it, and it's shockingly bad. I think there's a version without the gospel choir, which is better, but the original version is with that sort of gospelly choir. The second one was number one hit. It's a song I don't really like, but I really like these two artists, and it's UB40 and Chrissy Hine doing "I Got You, Babe." Now, it's not a bad version of the song. It's just I don't like it, and I much preferred their second effort a couple of years later, which was "Breakfast in Bed." I thought it was a really good version. Right, and my last one. Oh God, here we go. I do not like Elvis Costello's version of "What's So Funny About Peace, Love, and Understanding" on the US version of Armed Forces. It's a Nick Lowe song. It was originally done by Brinsley Schwartz. Their version is the best version. The second best version is Nick Lowe's own acoustic version. And I just don't think the song suits Elvis Costello's voice. And I'm glad it didn't get on the UK version. It was actually a B side of a Nick Lowe single, actually, as Nick Lowe and Friends. Didn't even say Elvis Costello. It was the B side of American Squirm. So, what's so funny about Peace, Love, and Understanding is my third bubbling under.
Yeah, I've heard that. The Birds song. So why would you need a gospel choir on
Ah,
that song?
really.
Yeah, that's some great choices there. Well, I've got six, so I'll quickly go through them. Okay, my first one. There's always a rule of thumb: never cover a Doors song unless you're good at
Heard
it.
that?
Simple Minds did on Neon Lights, and they had to go at "Hello, I Love You."
Right, okay. I haven't heard that.
Oh dear, I don't think it's a very good album, full stop. But that is just the pick of the bunch. My next one is a David Bowie cover of off his Peanuts album from 1973. Might be controversial, but I don't like the version of Friday on My Mind.
No, I do.
I think he just sounds like he's got the helium next to him.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a pretty good version. I like the easy beat.
Okay, my next one is originally done by Shangri-La's Leader of the Pack. But in 1985, Christy's sister did it, released it as a single.
I remember it.
And it's crap. You've mentioned Elvis Costello. Now, and I had this as a gift from Mike last week, watching The Detective, Elvis Costello, one of my favourite tracks. But Duran Duran had a go at it on their Thank You album and totally crucified it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, have you heard it?
I have. I've heard quite a few of those covers on that album. As Thank You is the album, isn't it?
Yeah.
They actually do a really good version of White Lines, you know, the Grand Master Flash.
Yeah.
I like
yes,
that
is great. I like that. My next one is a song done by Lorraine Ellison. It's Stay With Me. Absolutely classic song. I love that song to bits. But do I want David Coverdale singing it in 1997? No. 1974 version of David Coverdale could have sang it, but not the 1997. It's like strangling a cat.
Okay.
And I couldn't mention bad covers without mentioning Status Quo.
You have a ton to choose from.
Yes. I could have put the whole of the Famous of the Last Century album on trial, but the one that just doesn't do it for me, and it's the worst version of that song, and that's Run Around Sue. It didn't need that.
You see, if I was to pick one of those covers, I would have done his cover of Sorrow, because I think or their cover of Sorrow, I think is dreadful.
Oh, he's dreadful as well. Yeah, there are so many. The ones that like the Wanderer, I love their version of the Wanderer. I love Something About Your Baby I like, but the ones that they put on them cover albums, that absolutely. I mean, Centerfold nearly got on there.
Oh God,
that is just dire. But Run Around Sue, when it comes to it, it's just that. No, it doesn't need that. So that's the sinners of the world doing bad covers. Interesting one. There's some great ones there. We'd love to hear what yours are as well, because we do both like reading what you put. You can tell them what we're doing next week, because if you haven't forgotten it.
2 weeks time.
2 weeks time, yes.
We're going to do the top 10 songs that are actually collaborations, and not like Simon and Garfunkel, because they are an entity. Something like Queen and David Bowie, Under Pressure, could be one. So top 10, they don't have to be singles, they can be just songs. So I know Madonna did a collaboration with Prince on her Like a Prayer album, Love Song, I think you called it. So it could get included. So top 10 collaborations, which is
yes, I've got about 3 going through the head now. So anyway, as ever, it's always a pleasure doing these.
Yes.
And I did point out to Richard that this is video number 38.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to do something really special for the 40th video, aren't we?
Yes. Don't know yet, but we are. Oh, we do know. Sorry.
Yeah, we do. We're going to do something really special for the 40th show, which that's quite a feat, isn't it, really?
And well, I will say that, you know, the way our music tastes are completely different, basically. But our 40th video, we both love this type of music, correct?
Yes, absolutely. It's what we grew up on. Anyway, all I leave for me to say is thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all in a fortnight. And it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
He's getting good at this, isn't he? Okay, folks. See you all soon. Take care. Bye for now.